Welcome, everybody. It is Saturday at noon, presumably. Maybe you're watching this a little bit later than noon. But every Saturday at noon, supposedly, a new episode of this podcast comes out. And this week is no different.
Oh, shit.
You're here with Derek and Johnny. This is the Mega Strange Podcast. Thank you for joining us, everybody. So happy to have you here. We wouldn't be able to do the show without you.
I get really excited when I see a lot of the comments being like, this is my new Saturday tradition. Like, I wake up and I pop this on, and that makes me feel good because I do the same thing.
Mega Strange is catching on with the young folks these days. I hear they're even talking about us on music television.
Are they?
No.
Oh.
But maybe someday they will. I could see this show getting on television.
Yeah, we could be like
MTV, Spike TV, True TV.
We could be like Jake Fogelnest, do like Squirt TV.
Yeah. Speaking of television, TV is a wild place.
Yes.
And it's been a wild place ever since its inception about 100 years ago. That's crazy to think about. Television's been around for 100 years.
Yep. Used to be radio, and then they had those little tiny screens with like giant dials.
Yeah.
And now we have 80-inch TVs, flat screens, baby.
Yeah. And of course, as you know, if you've ever watched television, you know that it is highly regulated, that there is a whole government agency involved in monitoring and controlling what goes out over television. You're not allowed to say bad words. In America, you can't show a pair of boobies, which in Europe, you can show.
Yes.
I went to Europe once and I just turned on TV and there were naked people on it. And I was like, they say America is the greatest country on earth, and now I know that's not true.
Hey, the FCC won't let me be me.
Yeah, the FCC is stopping the boobies from being on TV.
Yeah, it's really funny how like in America, I mean, I don't want to get super political here, but like we
oh God, here we go.
Johnny's
gonna let it all out.
we allow so much hyperviolence on TV, but not sex or like the human body. But in Europe, they're down with that stuff.
Well, I am not going to get political. All I'm going to say is I don't make the rules. I just break the rules. Of course, I've never broken any rules when it comes to the FCC or what is broadcast on television.
Yeah.
But I would if I could, if I knew how, because I think it's a highly technical expertise that you have to pull it off. But today, we're going to talk about a couple of times when those guardians of television were got at their own game, when individuals were able to circumvent the rules and regulations and broadcast whatever they wanted out there into the public. In what has come to be known as pirate television signals.
Yes.
Of course, when you do a pirate television signal, it's not enough just to like break onto TV. You got to have some sort of presentation to it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you got to keep them entertained.
It takes a little something special to capture the imagination of the viewing audience out there. And that's what we're going to be talking about on today's episode of Mega Strange. This is the Mega Strange Podcast. You're here with Derek and Johnny. This is your go-to podcast for all things strange, supernatural, bizarre, cryptid, or just plain out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
And today we're going to be talking about that last section there, that last category.
Ordinary
just plain out of the ordinary.
Oh, out of the ordinary. I thought you said ordinary.
Yeah. The stories we have today, they're not supernatural. They don't have to do with monsters or supposed monsters, cryptids, UFOs, ghosts, or anything like that. These are stories about people, regular people. And yet they are still mysterious stories. And some of them have captured the imagination of people for decades. I want to start off today's story, today's episode, with a story that takes you back to 1977.
Ooh.
That's right. The year that Star Wars came out.
Oh, I thought we were going to like do hippie shit.
Was that song signifying?
No, I thought you were gonna.
Shit
I thought you were
you?
gonna like start some Bob Marley like tink, jink.
Did that sound like a Bob Marley song?
That
That was the
reggae.
theme to Star Wars.
No, I just when you start like the first note, I was like, here we go. If you roll back, you'll see I like did a squinty eye like we're gonna do hippie shit.
leave a comment down below. Was that hippie shit or was that Star Wars?
I mean, that Mark Hamill, he
out the gate. Did you
hair.
know I was doing Star Wars, or did you also think that it was some Bob Marley jam?
I'm so tired.
Johnny is tired. He's been going late. It's late here in the Mega Strange studios, but we digress. Let's get back to my story.
Yeah, sorry.
1977, of course, that's the year that Star Wars came out. It was a banner year for science fiction, and space UFOlogy was at an all-time high in 1977.
Yeah.
If you go back a few episodes of the Make Strange podcast, you can revisit when we talked about Heaven's Gate, and that was booming in the late 70s. There was just a lot of UFO in the air and on people's minds. So let's go to late 1977 on the night of November 26th.
Okay.
1977, in a small part of UK, actually, in southern UK.
Going British.
Yeah. We had, well, a strange occurrence happened that night on the news. They were broadcasting just the local nightly news when suddenly the broadcast was interrupted by a voice that claimed to be a representative of an alien nation.
Whoa.
And this voice had a message for the people of Earth. Now, when this happened, it was audio only. So they were able to overtake the audio frequencies of the television station.
Okay.
There was no actual video of the incident, but we have that audio recording here, and it's been recreated in a way to simulate what it would be like if the television signal was hijacked.
I want to put this in perspective for people because, like, I know in everyone's heads, like, oh, you know, maybe they showed up to the TV station, popped a USB drive in there, and they played their file. That was non-existent at the time. They had to, like, you had to have like a tape. Well, like a giant reel-to-reel, like to play audio.
We don't quite know what happened behind the scenes,
but it definitely involved a ton of technology. I would assume.
Let's show people this clip of what it must have been like. Now, imagine this is pre-internet, okay? You've just seen Star Wars a few months earlier. You think space is cool. I wish I could go to space. And then you're watching TV one night when this happens.
Settlement based on one man, one vote. But, he says, there are conditions. These include stopping the execution of all captured prisoners of war.
And you said this was like an edit?
Yeah.
In Australia, Mr. Kerry Packer's cricketers are still pleading by yesterday's High Court decision, which didn't ban on them playing in Test matches.
This is the voice of Allah, representative of the Ashtar Galactic Command, speaking to you.
If I was watching TV and this happened, I would have shit my fucking pants. I would have I would have ran out of my fucking house and started screaming. Like, I don't know what, like,
especially if you were like 10, 11, or 12 years old. Like, you're in 6th grade and you're just watching TV at 5 o'clock with your family. And then this voice starts to play. Do you want to hear a little bit more?
Yeah. I was just going to say, I get scared when the fucking, like, broadcast color bars come up. Like, this shit would fucking, like, even now I would...
It's startling.
Yeah.
You say as we have done to your brothers and sisters all over this, your planet Earth.
I like that the aliens are British.
The destiny of your race and your world. So
yeah. Right? Okay, you can pause this.
Oi, bruv, we gonna take over your fucking planet, mate.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, a very British voice came on and basically went on to have a message for the people of Earth that lasted about 5 minutes. And the voice spoke very slow and was hard to understand because it was so garbled. But essentially, what this voice claimed to be was the voice of Vrillon. Great alien name. And was a representative of the Ashtar Galactic Command. They essentially had a message for the people of Earth, warning them that the destiny of your race and your world is on the precipice of a great awakening. And they went on to say that the planet was moving into the age of Aquarius and that the human race was either going to evolve or be wiped out. And that, the Ashtar Galactic Command was monitoring the people of Earth
Okay.
and was going to decide if they were worthy of this evolution or not. And what that decision was weighing on was the ability of the rulers of all of the Earth's nations to get rid of their weapons of mass destruction. They basically wanted to
Some hippie shit.
get rid of all the nukes. They say you have but a short time to learn to live together in peace and goodwill. Small groups all over the planet are learning this and exist to pass on the light of the dawning new age to you all. You are free to accept or reject their teachings, but only those who learn to live in peace will pass to the higher realms of spiritual evolution. Blah, blah, blah. It was a bunch of hippie shit. They go on to say, like, your inner divine self will protect you. You must learn to be sensitive to the voice within so that you can tell what is truth, what is confusion, chaos, and untruth. You know, it kind of sounds like a bunch of anti-vaxxers doing their own independent research. Like, I'm going to listen to my own truth. That's what Vrillon was preaching.
I want to meet the political British activist that was like, I got a plan that's going to unite the fucking planet.
Yeah.
Like,
So right away, as you pointed out, it's interesting that an alien race has a thick British accent, speaks English, and interrupts a British newscast.
Yeah.
Pretty immediately, it was obvious to people that this was fake.
Yeah.
This was a hoax. But regardless of what was obvious to most people, some people still believed it.
Yeah.
Some people thought it was true. And hundreds of people called the radio station. Again, I mean, this was the 70s. People were stupider back then.
Yeah, I mean,
they just didn't know enough. They didn't have the internet. They didn't have YouTube to see all the crazy things that were happening. If you lived in some little bubble and this was the first weird thing that ever happened to you, yeah, maybe you might believe it.
Yeah,
maybe you'd think it was true.
This isn't the first time stuff like that has happened. You got like Orson Welles freaking out the fucking...
Doing War of the Worlds?
Yeah, exactly.
Or, maybe, when was that? Like War of the Worlds. I think that was in like the 40s or perhaps the 30s.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways, the Independent Broadcasting Authority, also known as the IBA, which is kind of like the FCC of the UK at the time, issued a statement that said, whoever did this, they don't know who did it, but whoever did it had a considerable amount of technical know-how to essentially jam the television station's broadcast signal, replace it with their own broadcast, and then have that amplified out to a large audience. They said a hoaxer, which I love that term, a hoaxer jammed our transmitter in the wilds of North Hampshire by taking another transmitter very close to it. And the hoaxer was never identified.
Yeah. I mean, I said it before, like, that person was probably aggressively nerdy to be able to do that at that time.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of, like, equipment you'd probably need that he probably had to, like, get into, like, a van and, like, drive it up to the studio.
Despite the IBA pretty much telling people it was a hoax, within days of this, the London Times published an article that said, how can the IBA or anyone else be sure that the broadcast was a hoax?
Ooh.
And a few days after that, newspapers all over the world started picking up on the story. And even out here in America, in Eugene, Oregon, the newspaper known as the Register Guard commented, nobody seemed to consider that Vrillon may have been for real.
Wow. Shouts out to Oregon.
Yeah, people will believe anything up there in Oregon. Yeah. This was one of the first known events of supposed like television piracy and hijacking a signal. And this is a very little known event. This is kind of just a small footnote in the strange history of radio broadcasts.
I was about to say, I wonder if it like earlier on there was like pirate radio broadcasts, just like not televised pirate, broadcasts.
Yeah. Anything that's not sanctioned by a governing body and authorized to be on television, any hijacked signal is technically a pirate broadcast. And,
Yeah.
and that does happen in radio. I think it made a whole movie called Pirate Radio.
Yeah.
Which was based on a real
I never
story
saw that.
about a guy who like bought a boat and broadcasted his radio station from
shit.
the boat from international waters and would like take over UK radio stations.
I miss that era of like twee movies like that. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Almost 10 years later to the day, what another pirate television incident happened, arguably the most famous pirate signal incident of all time. And a lot of people out there may have already heard of this one. It's called the Max Headroom incident
Yes.
of 1987. Now we're in 1987. November 22nd, 1987. If you haven't heard of this, the Max Headroom incident is a time when nobody quite knows who it was, but some sort of television pirate or hacker was able to hijack 2 television broadcasts in the city of Chicago. The first was on a news station in the middle of their sports broadcast. I guess the signal, the first intrusion took place on WGN TV's 9 o'clock news. And it only lasted for about 28 seconds.
Really?
And essentially what happened was in the middle of the sporting segment, the signal went black for about 15 seconds. And then a picture of a man came up on screen. And he was wearing a mask which resembled Max Headroom, who was a character from the 80s.
Yeah.
Who we'll talk about a little bit later. And there wasn't really much audio. There was like some weird sounds or whatever. But this was a major television studio. And almost immediately, the engineers in the TV station knew that something was wrong. They ran to the control room. Literally, this interruption only lasted for 28 seconds before the engineers were able to kill the feed and switch it back over to one that was under their control.
Okay.
The sports anchor who was giving his story at the time was totally caught off guard. And when the 28-second interruption ended, he looked into the camera and said, "Well, if you're wondering what's happened, so am I." Because he had no explanation for that. I mean, literally, this had never happened to anybody in America. There had never been a signal stolen like this.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, even if you possibly tried this now, we have such,
Oh, you can't do this anymore.
no, like you probably get figured out like real fast.
It's actually physically impossible because in 2009 we switched over to an all digital signal for television across America, and so they don't have those broadcast signals available anymore.
That's true. Yeah.
But I said there were 2 incidents, and a lot of people don't even know about this first incident because the second incident has gone on to live in infamy.
Yeah.
Because whoever these people were, their next target was not a major television studio with engineers sitting at the control desk ready to take control back of the signal. They targeted the local PBS station, and it was 2 hours later. So this came at about 11 o'clock at night when all the engineers had gone home. And this was in the middle of an episode of Doctor Who.
Ooh.
And we have the full clip here.
Yes.
And I just want to show this for everybody here. We've added subtitles to the clip here because the audio is kind of hard to make out. But just imagine again, it's 1987.
Yeah.
You don't have the internet. You love horror stories and weird stuff. You're watching Doctor Who one night when suddenly your TV signal gets hijacked.
Forgotten with the old ones of your tribe.
Well, it's Tom Baker, Doctor Who.
I'll get you a hot drink.
Classic.
Wow, you actually know this.
I love Doctor Who.
The voice is modulated.
Yeah. Love the way they recreated the background of Max Headroom.
If I saw this, I would think I was having a psychotic episode.
Yeah.
I would feel like I was having a break with reality.
At the time, not a lot of people had. I mean, people had VHS cameras, but like, this probably looked really good at the time too. I still don't know like what he's talking about.
Whoever this is, they know that this is going to go down in infamy. My brother's wearing the other one.
Is that like an OJ reference?
No, this was 10 years before the O.J.
Yeah.
Simpson
And then he gets spanked.
with a fly swatter. And we can't tell if that's a man or a woman, but
Yeah.
presumably they're in a dress. And they give a little love tap to the booty. And then Doctor Who comes back on.
Oh, a fucking Dalek, dude. No, I can't see what the fuck is on
All
the
right,
screen.
that's the clip right there. That's the clip right there. Yeah, what do you think about that?
I've seen that clip like multiple times. I don't know what the fuck that guy's talking about. And I know there's several videos online now that like kind of go into it, but I never really retained the information. Is he talking about like a political, like a politician at first? Because he calls someone a fucking liberal.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I was about to say,
I was 2 years old when this came out.
I was hoping you had some of the info.
Well, no, the truth is nobody has any info. Nobody was ever able to figure out
Yeah.
who these hackers were. They say that the broadcast and intrusion
Yeah.
was achieved by sending a more powerful transmission to those two stations to overpower the broadcast signal that they were sending out.
Yeah.
The FBI looked into it. The FCC looked into it. They don't know who it was. They have a feeling that it might have been an inside job. Perhaps it was a disgruntled employee from WGN. But
That makes sense.
as of today, the hijackers were never found. Now there have been like threads on Reddit of people who claim to know the group of people who did it.
Yeah.
Some people think it was like an underground hacking community in Chicago. But
Okay.
those claims were later vetted and found to be inconclusive or just straight up untrue. Whoever did it, the FCC was looking for them, and they were facing up to $100,000 fine and a year in prison. But by the year 1992, the statute of limitations had lapsed.
Whoa.
And so even to this day, we don't know who pulled off the Max Headroom hijacking incident, but they no longer face criminal penalties because it's been so long. So if you're watching,
Yeah.
I think
Huge
it's
Mega
time,
64
I think
fan.
it's time to come forward. Give us an interview and tell us how you did it.
It's really funny how, even at the time, like you watch movies and like the hacker is always like this cool, like dude with a computer, or like even in like modern movies. But you could see from that how fucking aggressively nerdy that guy is. Like, one, Max Headroom, that's already like obscure and weird. Two, like, taking over Signal during Doctor Who. Like, who's watching that besides like other nerds? I don't
Yeah.
Also, knowing how to hack that system, like you have like an in-depth knowledge of, radio frequencies and TV broadcast signals and all that jazz.
Absolutely. I had always heard about the Max Headroom incident and I'd seen that video myself, but I don't
Yeah.
really know much about Max Headroom.
This is a weird thing. I'm glad you said that, because one of my teachers in film school, he, for some reason, every year I would always take classes from this one teacher because he would always show like weird movies.
Mm-hmm.
And he would always show us every class the Max Headroom TV movie, the pilot.
20 minutes into the future?
I think that's what it's called. But at home, check that out. That movie's radical. Like,
Really? It's on YouTube.
yeah, check it out. It's really good. I've never seen the rest of the show. I've heard the rest of the show is like gets really campy. That first one is just like genuinely like good sci-fi.
Interesting. So as I know, Max Headroom was created by by a UK TV producer who essentially in the age of MTV was trying to find something that would capture people's attention.
Yeah.
And he thought, well, I want to go with the exact opposite look and aesthetic and feel of everything you're currently seeing on TV. Everybody who is showing off like music videos on television, they're all young and hip and cool. What if we had a character that was just a white guy in a business suit
Yeah.
who was talking about things as sterile as possible? And then he had the idea to make this a computer-generated character. And that's kind of who Max Headroom is. They cast an actual actor to play it, but then they filmed him in a way with strange prosthetics, and they would like glitch out the video to make it seem like it was computer generated. I actually have some Max Headroom clips of the real Max Headroom here, straight out of the 80s, and you can see how ahead of its time the Max Headroom concept was. It's pretty like avant-garde, especially with its sense of humor. Let's look at some of these Max Headroom best of clips. I feel like the 80s were such a simpler time when this character could become a cultural icon. I don't know if this could fly today.
Yeah, I don't know. Max Headroom is such a strange concept.
Did you know that Max Headroom is kind of like, he is a pop culture icon, and his last appearance was in the 2015 film Pixels?
I didn't know that. I'm going to switch back over. I wanted, if that's cool.
Yeah, that's enough.
I just wanted to say real quick before we even get into that, like Max Headroom, I've only seen that TV movie, but he's the character is supposed to be a pirate broadcast, so it makes it's the weird connection between that guy doing that with the mask on. Makes so much sense when you know what the character is.
That's pretty meta. You know, I would love to get one of those Max Headroom masks,
Yeah.
the same one that he used, and do our own pirate broadcast.
And I even wonder how popular I don't think the show was popular at all. And isn't Max Headroom in Back to the Future for like a second?
I
Back
don't
to the Future
remember.
2? I think
don't
he shows up
remember.
for a second in there.
He might. He was all over the place.
Yeah, when doesn't he like serve him a Pepsi or some shit?
I mean, I gotta go watch that movie again. I couldn't tell
Yeah.
you.
But like I think he was a culture icon, but no one watched that show, I don't think.
Well, it was a show from the UK.
Yeah, exactly. So it's weird that he came here and became
he was that big.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to start today's episode with some of these TV signal hijacking incidents.
Yeah.
But I'm also kind of just fascinated with television in general.
Yeah.
And this idea of, as we said, television's been around for 100 years. And especially in those early days, a lot of those broadcasts were not even recorded.
No.
They would just send them out live on the air, and then they would disappear forever. I mean, we have no idea the amount of footage that has been lost to history forever and what that content was. And perhaps it was good and groundbreaking and, you know, masterpiece works of art. We'll never know. But I love the idea of lost media.
Me too.
And stuff that, and it's kind of my favorite thing on YouTube is to look up these old pieces of footage that cannot be found anywhere else. And I think we have a collection of some lost pieces of media to talk about and show today.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much of it was lost. I mean, it was all found recently, but yeah, I also love watching like YouTube videos about lost media. There's been a huge like thing in the YouTube community of people like actively finding the stuff.
Yeah.
And I love that so much.
Well, they're kind of like archaeologists, like media versions of Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Like it belongs in a museum and the museum is YouTube. You know, we love wrestling.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you watch this show, you know we love professional wrestling. We interviewed Alex Coughlin.
Yes.
In our prototype version of the show, Mega 64 and Scene.
Yeah.
We interviewed Danhausen. We might have to repost that someday under under the Mega Strange umbrella. But in watching some documentaries about wrestling,
yes,
we found a wrestling league that has now gone defunct, and they only had one major pay-per-view. They were
Yeah.
known as UWF,
Yeah.
which I believe is Universal Wrestling Federation.
yes.
And we want to show you some clips of this pay-per-view. Don't worry if you're not a wrestling fan. This doesn't actually
No.
contain any combat in it, but instead we want to focus on the host of this pay-per-view,
Yeah.
who was the CEO and founder of UWF. I can't remember his name.
Herb.
Herb what?
I don't remember his last name.
All right, so this
they
is
say
Herb.
it in the clips I grabbed.
We're going to show you a clip of Herb hosting this pay-per-view. This is some lost media because
Yeah.
this was only broadcast once and it's not preserved anywhere except for the people who recorded it at home, put it on YouTube. Herb notoriously was a very, very big cokehead.
Yeah, I was gonna say Coke Fiend.
Coke phantom, coke god.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would go so far as to call him a deity.
Yeah.
Who worshipped cocaine, and was worshipped by cocaine. And I think it's evident in some of the footage.
Yeah.
From this pay-per-view. We just have to show this pay-per-view. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest with you people.
Yeah.
I've never seen a guy on TV this coked out.
Yeah. I went through the whole pay-per-view and grabbed out all the moments he seems coked the fuck out. But I grabbed one that's like, I have to preface it a little bit. I've never seen anything this racist in my fucking life.
Okay, I don't know. Wait, before you show the clip, I
Yeah.
don't know what clip you're going to show.
Yeah, it's like deep within this, so I don't know if you want to watch all of this, but
Maybe we'll skip that part.
Yeah.
But what I want to say about this guy is
Yeah.
he died.
Yes.
He's now dead.
doing
But
cocaine.
supposedly, he died under very, very mysterious conditions.
Yeah.
Supposedly, the police found him. He died of an apparent heart attack. He was completely naked.
Yeah.
They found him in like the hallway of a hotel because he had been chasing strippers or hookers through the hotel. Because, you know, I'm not
know.
quite sure
Yeah.
why he was chasing them, but it was almost like American Psycho.
Yeah.
When Patrick chases down his own hookers and tries to kill them when he's naked. I mean, it's almost the exact same story. And some people say that Herb faked his death
Yeah, to
That-
get out some debts and stuff.
to escape some debts, and that I don't know if he planted a naked dead body there or if he paid off the police to issue this false report
Some people
of
think
his death.
he entered the witness protection program as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So keep that in mind while we watch this video clip of the UWF pay-per-view, Blackjack Brawl
yes.
from 1994.
This is her, by the way.
There he is. Herb Abrams, Mr. Electricity.
I wonder why so electric.
I love his cadence when he talks. It seems like he can't get more than one syllable out without thinking really hard.
Blackjack, what do you think about Blackjack Brawl here
Blackjack Mulligan!
You could see, like, even when he's not talking, his brain is like spinning in his fucking skull.
Yeah, his brain is off. He's full lizard brain
Yeah.
at this point.
Like, they cut away from him, but when they cut back, you see his eyes are darting all over the place.
Gentlemen, the winner and new junior heavyweight champion, the world man champion.
Raise the volume here a little bit.
I'm happy to have you as champion, but I'm glad you got busted up. Ah. You know, you, Herb Abrams, are a sick bastard. You know that? You are a sick
Herb doesn't even know how to respond.
Let me tell you something. Rondo Guerrero, I have to give credit where credit is due. He was much tougher than I thought. He splits my head open, but remember one thing.
Everybody in
Yeah.
this wrestling promotion looks like they're deeply troubled.
We welcome you back to all the excitement here
most
at the
likely
MGM
are.
Grand Garden
By the
Arena.
way,
Blackjack
you can look
Brawl
there and
won,
see
let's
that
not
most of
hesitate
the
any
arena
further.
is
Let's go
empty.
back to
Yes.
the ring
There's about
and Herb
200
Abrams.
people in attendance. They rented out the MGM
Wrestling fans, let me
Grand
tell you about the
in Las
Universal
Vegas,
Wrestling
but
Federation.
couldn't get anybody to
First of all,
attend.
regards from the-
Crowd is quite surprised at that one.
Little Tokyo.
Yeah.
Very, very disappointed. That was a great match,
Tokyo.
John. Excellent match.
Tremendous match.
Little Tokyo won the belt.
Little Tokyo.
Oh my
Hey, Herb
god.
Abrams ain't
Look at
that
the way
much
he
bigger than them.
interacts
Look
with
at
him
that.
my
here.
God.
This is fucked up. He always has to grab the person's belt.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first
He's got two
time in
microphones.
wrestling history, world midget champion Little Tokyo. What do you have to say? Sosaki?
Oh, sake.
Sake.
Yeah. Drink sake tonight.
We drink sake tonight.
Yeah, collaboration, right?
You say kampai?
Kampai, yes.
I say,
How you know kampai?
how do I know kampai?
How do you know
I
Kampai?
used to be married to a Japanese girl.
I used to be married to a Japanese girl.
All right, nice. I think that's enough. I think that's enough of Herb.
Yeah. Wait.
Oh, is that Cactus Jack?
Yeah,
Nice.
wait. There's one clip of him like fucking screaming. I don't know if I could pull that up here, but I'll definitely. Oh, there it is.
All right, let's end on this.
We get a little taste of him screaming here.
The main event, the The showdown will take place. Steve,
Dude,
Dr. Ned Williams. What's the
this is what
title
rock
of the
bottom
night?
looks like.
His eyes are dead.
The stars.
All right. Anyway, that was Herb.
So that's a little lost media from 1994.
Yes.
UWF Blackjack Brawl. Johnny, I think you've picked. You have a Johnny brain for us this week.
Yes, I wanted to. This one's a weird one, but since we're getting into the realm of like lost media, I figured we take a little detour into public access, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wanted to talk about like one of my favorite public access shows of all time. This show is called Hot Tracks. There is a documentary about these two. It's Nick and JB. They do a show. They've been doing it for a long time. I think it's 12 or 13 seasons deep. These two do like a public access show about music, and they review their favorite music. I just grabbed a couple of my favorite clips here, and I figured we could react to them.
All right, let's do it. All right, you got Johnny brain here loaded
Yes. Put my little cute little intro on it. Loud as fuck. Hold on. I got a lot of clips of Hot Tracks, so strap in.
Once again, I'm Nick Van Zanten.
And I'm JB West. We will have the final mystery CD of the season in just a moment, but first...
Yeah, I thought I could do a little gag since this is our season-ending episode. Take a look at the
Season
picture
finale.
right here.
Okay.
Oh, a little
You
gag.
see, this was on a birthday card that my grandma gave me, and she wrote inside.
I love them
"Don't you
so
think
much.
these
Why are
guys
the
will ever
double
make it
like
to
Big
Hot Tracks?"
T and Critters?
I don't know.
Are
I
they?
don't
It
know.
looks like
If they
it
practice
looks like
hard
Critters too.
Yeah.
You know,
Like the sequel
dog
to
on drums,
Critters.
Dingo Star, dog playing
Oh.
the guitar, Carlos Pantana, and for the cat, since cats purr, we could say John Bon Pervy.
John Bon Pervy.
Pervy?
Oh my god.
Of all the names,
They
you
would
took John Bon
pretty well
Jovi
if
and
they
mashed it up
tried.
with
Or
Purr.
actually, since Steve
Yeah.
Perry's singer
Pervy.
for Journey,
Or Steve Pervy.
we could have Steve Pervy.
I love that Nick
Oh,
laughs
but,
at that so hard.
That was fun. That was fun.
Wow, Nick's tearing up.
Okay, there you go. We have heard Beyonce and Baby Boy. Again, she teams up with
The
Sean
one on this
Paul.
one.
A good hit.
Beyonce?
Good beat,
Yeah.
good rhythm. I kind of like it.
Hey,
It's good.
I just want-
I thought this show was like from the 80s.
maybe this is the thing that I feel like I didn't explain. This is modern.
Yeah, apparently. Like,
This is like early 2000s, like,
okay.
and it looks straight out of the 80s.
And her album is Dangerously in Love. A good album, pretty much a good seller, a hot seller, if you ask me. I'll give this hit 5 stars.
Depending on what she's talking about, I would not know for sure. Could be sex, could be drugs, could be any stuff that's not good.
Well, she's talking about a baby boy. You know, it could be a baby boy.
Did
I
you
would
put
know
the
about
babies
that,
in
but
there?
I'm sorry to say, depending on what you're talking about, Beyonce, I'm sorry. 1 star.
Now, why
Oh, he
give it
hated
1
it.
star? Didn't you hear it? It had a good beat. It had a good rhythm.
Of
Yeah.
course I heard all of that. And
She teamed up with Sean Paul.
depending on what she's
What
talking
song are they talking about? Do you know?
Baby Boy.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that song. How does it go?
I don't know. It's Beyonce and Sean Paul, Baby
about
Boy.
and what she and Sean Paul are talking about. Well, it could be
I was-
sex, could be drugs, either one of those things.
But
But you never know.
But like I said, it could be talking about a baby boy. It could be talking about some baby boy, probably, depending on what the future's going to be for him.
Why are you laughing
Well, you never
so
know.
much? I'm failing to
You
see.
keep saying Baby Boy, and it makes me
Yeah,
laugh.
but why does that make you laugh?
I don't know. It's just a juxtaposition of like,
You're over here fucking dying because this kid is saying baby boy. Am I missing something?
okay. First of all,
You're like turning red. You're laughing so hard.
I just love that they have a show about music, and like if a song is about sex or drugs, that brings it down to 1 star. And then this
Well,
is
only according to one of the hosts.
yeah, this is a thing that I love is the two of them can never agree. And there's
they're like Siskel and Ebert.
Yeah.
They're like Derek and Rocco.
Yeah.
All great reviewing duos have to have
Yeah.
contrasting opinions.
yeah, exactly. So I just love how much they like don't let it go, where they just like keep bickering about it, and it like just to the point where it just becomes nonsense. So that's what makes me laugh.
Shall we continue?
We're going to hear Blue Christmas.
Blue Christmas. Now, is that where the snowflakes turn blue?
I don't think so, but you never know.
Never know. Okay.
Was that it? Was that the joke?
No, I mean, yeah, he made a dumb joke, but this one goes deep.
I asked the Eagles to see if they want to do a Christmas song. They said, why not?
You did not ask the Eagles to say if they wanted to do a Christmas song.
I
No,
know
he
that.
did. He really
Just
did.
follow me on this. We got an echo in both of our mics here. Just a sec
man.
here. There we go. Okay. Yeah, see? I got
There's
the
a
full-
third guy here running tech.
full wave
Yeah.
of-
Oh,
The unseen member of Hot Tracks.
he steps in a minute here.
All right, the hit I'm going to be doing, because the hit I'm going to be doing is Please Come Home for Christmas. It's a good hit from the Eagles. Go
All
ahead.
right, and you did not ask them if they could do a Christmas song.
You never
No, he
know.
did.
No, you didn't. You did not.
I asked Don
He
Henley,
did.
though.
No, you didn't. You don't even know the guy.
Call me crazy, but I got a chance to talk to Don Henley before the show.
No, you did not get the chance to
He
talk to
won't let it
Don
go.
Henley before the show. It was in
And-
your dream.
Yeah, anyway, got a hold
I don't
of
know who
him,
to believe.
and he says,
No,
Me
you
too.
no, you didn't. You did not get a hold of Don Henley in your dreams.
Anyway, it was nice to have the Eagles get on and again and see if they would like.
Anyway,
to do a
red
Christmas-
shirt, you're fucking up my Eagles.
Yeah.
You're going nuts here, JB.
Anyway,
You're going nuts.
Will
here,
you quit
JB.
quit telling them that you met with them and you met with Don Henley
JB,
when
quit
you really did
smoking
not?
drugs.
Yeah,
This is the Christmas special, so
Of
don't be
course.
making this up as
Of
you
course.
go along.
Of course.
dude, Christ won't approve.
All right, this is getting awkward now.
Now that was
Chris is a
Pop Song
bully.
89 by REM. Should we talk about the weather? Should we talk about the government?
Oh, this
I'd
one
say
gets
let's
deep.
talk about the weather. And it definitely is winter and snowing outside. But other than that, I do like
Hold on. Can you pause
Yeah,
this for
yeah.
a second? This dude is so punk rock.
Yeah, I love them.
Should we talk about the weather or should we talk about the government? I say let's talk about the weather. He doesn't even want to touch songs that talk about the government.
No.
And we're not even talking about like criticizing the government. It's just talking about it. I'd rather talk about the weather.
Yeah, he's wholesome. He doesn't like
Yeah,
drugs
it's too
or
wholesome.
sex.
Yeah. This is the perfect guy to be reviewing music.
That's what I'm saying. You're getting it.
the song, especially the beginning. The music was well written, I should say. So 5 stars.
Let's see. Let's talk about the government.
Oh, here we go.
Shall we talk about the government? President Bush, George W. Bush, probably said he was going to do something about, football players having, get rid of
Kneeling.
the steroids and stuff. And I say that's a good
yeah.
plan.
It's a
But
good
the beat is
plan.
well written, if you ask me. Same rating, 5 stars. Okay. Time to get some stones out. Rolling Stones, that is.
There you go.
Wow.
I love them so much. It reminds me of like,
Let's talk about the government. George Bush, he's going to get steroids out of football. That's a good president to me. Anyways, this has been your political discourse on Hot Tracks.
yeah. I love them so much. It reminds me of being a kid and like having to do like a book report. Like the way they review music is, it reminds me like one for one being like, this book is really good. It made me feel good. Like it's like
It's
that
entirely
level.
surface level, and
Yeah.
it seems like despite the amount of music they listen to, every track is just judged as if they've never listened to music before.
Yeah, it's like this song had a good beat.
But I didn't like the lyrics because they could be about sex. 1 star.
There is a full length documentary about those two. If you could find it, it's like unbelievably interesting. And I think Vice also like wrote an article about those two as well. So there's
What's the documentary called? Do you know?
I wish I knew offhand.
Well, it's a documentary about the TV show Hot Tracks.
Yeah, if you type in Hot Tracks public access, you'll get like all this stuff.
Do you have anything else for us today?
Nope, I think that's about it.
Yeah, that's everything I had as well. So I think that brings us to the end of our pirate television / lost media spectacular. Thanks for joining us, everybody. This has been another episode of Mega Strange, the Mega Strange podcast. Hey, by the way, we're going to be taking some phone calls and voicemail messages and listening to those on Tuesdays. Maybe
Yes.
not every Tuesday, but I do think we got enough calls that it could be a semi-regular segment on our show. So we're going to put the phone number up for you to contact us if you want to. Give us a ring and leave us a short message. You can also follow us on Instagram and social media at Mega Strange Podcast. You can follow me on Instagram at Derek Acosta only.
You can follow me, Catboy, at Catboy_Slim. One day I'll fucking nail it.
That's okay. They'll figure it out. That's our episode for this week, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting the Mega Strange Podcast. Hey, if you like this podcast and you want to see it grow, be sure to subscribe. Be sure to turn on
Please.
notifications. And you know what? Share our episodes with some people who you think would appreciate it, because we're not going to go anywhere unless we can grow our fan base. And that's what we need the Mega Strangers out there to help us do.
Yeah.
So do your part, because we really appreciate it. We'll be back next week with another crazy episode.
You know it.
Until then, keep an eye out for some strange shit. We'll see you next time, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.